So the topic is worst piece of gear you've ever owned.
Worst piece of gear
without naming any brands.
Yes.
Without naming any brands.
Yeah. We were going to change the names to protect the innocent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. To protect the guilty. To protect the guilty.
You're right.
Offenders.
This is
people who cost us money and didn't dish out the goods.
Yeah. Well, worst piece of gear. Let's hear it.
My worst piece of gear was definitely a volume pedal. I bought it and I was thinking, so I specifically bought it because my other volume pedal, which again, the brand shall be, I'll let it remain nameless. But that first volume pedal, the string always breaks. And so you know exactly which one I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
And so it happened like for the second or third time, and changing that string was like, but that was not the worst piece. That was like a decent volume pedal. It only broke like every 3 years, and you got to replace it. It's just a hassle to replace the string. But I'm like, you know what? Let me drop like over $200 for what was supposed to be like a super bougie volume pedal. And I had a gig like that week. I bought it specifically for the gig so I could like be worry free. And when I tell you it came in on day 2, I had so much bleed through, like when the volume was rolled off, you could still hear my guitar.
Really?
Yes, on day 2. So day 1 it was working fine. Day 2, and I found the culprit was this little screw on the inside of the volume pedal, and before every gig, every set, I would have to go in and be like and tighten this little screw, or else I'd roll my volume knob and you would still hear me like my volume was like full-fledged through the PA. And so I started carrying like a screwdriver around, like a little Allen wrench, to like, I'm sitting there like before every set, before every Sunday morning, tightening, until I eventually just said, this just sucks. This pedal just sucks. I just bought an indestructible volume pedal. Shout out to Boss, because it has lasted me forever, no issues. But man, that other volume pedal I had sucked, and the Boss volume pedal I have now has been great. It's built like a tank. It lasts forever. Super happy with the Boss volume pedal that I have. But,
those are solid.
Yeah, but the one that I had before, man, I hated tightening that little screw. It was the smallest screw on the inside of the pedal. Anyway,
it's not like it's a some iconic pedal too that gives you this sound that no other pedals can give you.
It's a volume pedal. It should work.
That's right.
At the very least, it should turn my volume off, dude.
That's right. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Volume pedal, man. Like I've had volume pedal issues too.
Yeah.
Same type of thing. String breaks or just noise that comes through. Like as you're swelling in, like there's just a noise to it. I don't know, man, but. There's definitely some bad ones out there, but there's some good ones as well.
You would think that would be one of the easier pedals, but it's like it's hard to find a decent volume pedal.
Yeah, it is. I really like my volume pedal now. I don't know how to say the manufacturer. I think it's Lille or Layla. I don't really know. It's a German company. But, dude, that thing is amazing, too. It's the same type. I mean, just like the Boss. Indestructible.
Oh yeah, I've seen yours. It's got a big footprint, but it's built like a tank, man. It's not. Yeah, that's not breaking.
They do have a smaller one now too.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, I've been tempted to do that. And I'm like, no, I got a great volume pedal. There's no reason for me to spend the money on that.
I think people can kind of underestimate the volume pedal.
Yeah.
And like how, I mean, it's important that it works properly, or you're kind of screwed mid song.
That's right.
Like I don't know if you had this, but the ones with the strings. When they break mid-song, and let's say you were about to do a swell, and now your volume is stuck at 2,
That's never happened to me.
That's happened to me. I go into swell and the string breaks, and I'm like, okay, well, now my volume is stuck at 2%.
So you go turn up your amp?
Yeah, well, it's just like, now I'm trying to reach inside the pedal and like turn the dial with my fingers. It's like, no, not now, please. Bro, I was so mad.
Dude, yeah, I think some people sleep on volume pedals, but that is an important piece of gear. Not only just from a functional standpoint, but also like you can do some really cool stuff, like artistically with volume pedals too. So, yeah.
Right. Micah, what's the worst piece of gear you've ever owned?
Worst piece of gear that I ever owned. There's been several. I've gone through a lot of gear.
You do go through pedals.
I have a problem. Don't be like me. No, I think for me the worst pedal I ever had. I was in college. I've been playing guitar about 6 months at this point, and already had even there were early signs that I had a problem then. But I was in college, not a lot of money at the time. The local guitar shop had a phaser pedal.
Okay.
That's
a fun effect.
Yeah, I never owned a phaser pedal.
Or at least
before.
it should. It should be a fun effect.
Honestly, at the time, I don't even think I knew what a phaser did. But it
just looked cool, and you needed to have it.
It was a really cool color. It looked like I could probably make some really great sounds with that. Yeah. So, and we didn't have YouTube at the time. Let me Google it and see what kind of sounds it makes. And I was like, let's just give it a shot.
You had to try it. Yeah.
Let's just give it a shot. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe it'll be awesome. So it was $30, I think, used.
Inflation.
Sounds like a deal, but.
Okay, never mind. I take it back.
No. Yeah, at the time, I was scraping together change from the floorboard of my car just to buy a taco at Taco Bell. So the $30 was a lot of money. So I ended up, I had a meal card for the cafeteria at school. Mm-hmm. So I ended up bartering, I don't know, a certain number of meals to raise the funds.
You're such a drug addict for these pedals.
Yeah.
Hey, you want a Chick-fil-A meal card? I gotta buy a pedal.
So I did that. I was able to secure the funds. I went and got this phaser pedal, and I brought it home. And I think at the time I had maybe like 2 or 3 other pedals. Mm-hmm. So I plugged it into the chain, and I'm like, have my guitar there, and I'm ready to make some sounds with it.
Traded all the chicken nuggets.
All the Chick-fil-A and the cafeteria, all that. That was off the table now. So I have this phaser, and I turned it on, just stomped and turned it on, and it sounded terrible. And maybe it wasn't the pedal. I don't know. In fairness, I didn't know what I was doing, but all I know is at the time it just sounded like just garbage, like garbled. Just a garbled mess. We've talked about signal chain. Maybe it was a signal chain problem, or maybe it truly was just a terrible pedal.
Could be amp situation.
Yeah, yeah. But at the time, considering what I gave up, what I gave up at the time, like I bartered all this stuff, and now all of a sudden, like I'm looking at couple weeks of like ramen meals, and
you're looking at the pedal like, you better fix myself.
Yeah, so now I have no food, and I have a crappy pedal, so that did not turn out well for me.
I think that is something to like mention, user error, like looking back, you're like, I feel like a lot of guitar players, they'll plug in like a $500 pedal and be like, this thing sucks. That's because your amp is $12. That's why it sounds like trash.
Slash has this one. He sounds great. What's wrong with my tone?
Slash's amp is way better than yours. Your amp is this big, and you're like, why doesn't it sound huge?
Yeah, you're playing through what are those little the little like pig amps? What are they called?
Yeah, if you can fit your amp on your belt loop, then it doesn't matter how expensive the amp. Or if you got your amp, and this is no shade to like if you got, because everybody starts this way. You just can't expect like fantastic, amazing professional tone, but like the boxes that you buy as a beginner. Where it has like the guitar and the amp in like one box. Yeah. Like I started out with that thing, but man, the like distortion channel of like that beginner amp was just a static machine, And I was like, you try and plug pedals into it. It's this big, and it came with like a $50 guitar, and it's like, So yeah.
They had those. They had those when I started playing. They didn't come in a box together, but they were called crate amps.
Crate amps.
Actually, well, crate doesn't really make much anymore. We can throw some shade in there. we can always just cut that out.
I like it. I leave it in.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Don't make the same mistakes we did.